without consequent to my discovery and assertion that functional illiteracy is at the root of our every dislocation and disorientation, I am here once again to emphasize that we have our own rights as child, and one of those rights includes the right to freedom of choice of career and profession by modern Suli Breaks, an English philosopher and poet, who said as thus: right now, there is a kid finishing parents' evening in a heated discussion with his mother, saying, why does he have to study subjects he will never ever use in his life? And she will look at him, blank-eyed, stifle a sigh, think for a second, and then lie. She will say something along the lines of, you know, for you to get a good job, you need a good degree, and this subject will help you get a good degree. We never had this opportunity when I was younger. And he will reply, but you were young a long time ago, weren't you, Mom? And she will respond, although what he implies makes perfect sense, that society's need could have changed since she was 16, but she will ignore him, grip his hand most thoroughly, and then drag him to the car. But what she didn't know is that she didn't ignore him just to shut him up. She didn't lie because she just returned from parents' evening and an argument the whole way would look bad on her resume. She didn't lie because she just spent the last 1 hour convincing the stone-faced teacher that her son studies more at home. No, she will lie simply because she doesn't know any better herself. Although her whole adult life, she's never used or applied Pythagoras' theorem, pathetic fallacy, and still doesn't know the value of x, she will rely on society to tell her that her child, who was one of the sharpest minds in school, is hyperactive, unfocused, easily distracted, and wayward. Students, how many equation subjects and dates did you memorize before an exam, never to use again? How many A grade did you get which you never asked for when you applied for a job? How many times do you remember something 5 minutes after the teacher said stop writing, only to receive the result 1 month later to realize you were just 1 mark short of the top grade? Did that mean remember 5 minutes earlier could have made you more qualified for a particular job on application form would have? We all have different abilities, thought processes, experiences, and genes. So why is a class full of individuals tested by the same means? Does that mean she all thinks she's done because she couldn't do a couple of songs? And if this issue is not addressed properly, it then becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Then every school has the audacity to have a policy on equality. The irony. Exams are society's methods of telling you what you're worth, but you can't let society tell you what you are, because the same society that tells you that abortion is wrong and then looks down on teenage parents is the same society that promotes products to promote natural hair, looks, and smooth complexion, with the model in the box half Photoshop and has fake lashes and hair extensions, with pastors that preach charity but own private jet, imams that preach against greed but own fat, parents that say they want educated kids but constantly marvel at how rich dressing is. They say they believe so much in the importance of higher education and further learning that why increase tuition fees every single year? I believe Miss Jefferson when she took me in the office and said my exams would be imperative to my success. She was told to follow what Miss Jefferson led. But then I took Jefferson out of the equation and learned to think for myself. I realized we were taught to follow what Miss led. The irony. Test us with tests, but the finals are never final, because they never prepare us for the biggest test, which is survival, and what I suggest is fairly outlandish, so I don't expect everyone to understand this, except for the child who knows what it feels like to want no more than that D or that A he gets on results day, and the ones whose best stories were never good enough for the English teacher, because apparently he missed out key literature techniques, did not follow the class plan, and the language was too informal for him to understand. But then he referenced Hamlet and Macbeth, and you find the urge to express your contempt by casually clenching your fist with only your middle finger left protruding in the middle of your hand. And he asked if he was aware that Shakespeare was known as the innovator of slang, or the kid at the back of the class who thinks, why study something that doesn't fit my drive? but when confronted with a maths problem, his eyes come alive. So this one is for my generation. The ones who found what they're looking for on Google, the ones who followed your dreams on Twitter, pictured their future on Instagram, accepted their destiny on Facebook. This one is for my failures and my dropouts, my unemployed graduates, my shop assistant, cleaners and cashiers with bigger dreams, my self-employed entrepreneurs, my world changers and my dream churches. For the purpose of why I hate school but love education is never to initiate a worldwide debate, but to let them know that whether 72 or 88, 44 or 68, we will not let exam results decide our fate. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 19, says that everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinion without interference and to get and receive information and knowledge from any source, regardless of frontiers. The basic value underpinning all human rights is that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and in right. Respect for individuals and prohibition of every kind of discrimination are the cornerstone to every human rights war. Does not wisdom cry out and understand the proof of her voice? We shall be well if we do likewise. But all of my free United Nations Human Rights Education and Advocacy Training Project in Nigeria, living and studying in a society of which discrimination, gender inequality takes many disguised, destructive form. I have chosen to align with my heart to take a small step in creating and sustaining a society of non-discrimination and gender equality by being bold to be a positive bystander against all forms of discrimination and gender inequality in my school environment and in my wider community. A positive bystander is one who witnessed unkind, harmful, dangerous and abusive, life-threatening situations and choose to intervene to help prevent the problem from continuing or escalating. A positive bystander model promotes the idea that everyone in the society has a role to play in preventing our schools, families, churches, marketplaces, workplaces laden with enormous vices like our post-modernist society, bereft of values and virtues of kindness and selflessness. Reverend Waldo Emerson revealed that if you think your silence in some certain topics, perhaps in the face of unkindness, mean-spiritedness, injustice, inequality, discrimination, could cause others to reserve the judgment of you, far otherwise, your actions utter so loudly to men that you have no oracle to speak, no wisdom to offer, and your fellow men have understood that you cannot help them. Though no wisdom cry out and understand and put forth her voice, we shall be well if we do likewise. Confucius revealed that seeing what is right and not doing it is one of courage. Gandalf also revealed that people say it is great power that holds evil in check, but that is not what I have found. It is the day-to-day deeds of everyday folks that keeps the darkness at bay, which is some act of kindness and love. And finally, Margaret Mead asserted that never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Come one, come all. Let us morally transform, reform, recreate, rebrand, renew, and restore our schools, communities, states, religions, country, and world through the power, bliss, coherence, total knowledge, understanding, and application of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which consists of 30 universal articles accepted by the Universal Intelligence Conscience as a standard for moral socialization and conscience development, as an objective valid clarification for all humankind unification into a global, ethical, consensus community. Human rights is the 4R, the fundamentals of everyone's essential education, along with reading, writing, and arithmetic. Be adequately educated. The proactive, outreach, and engage. Thank you all, and thank you all very much. One love, peace, and justice for all.